I entertained a single woman as a married man. I've been married to my wife for almost 10 years. About a week ago, at a friend's party, we began to talk about my success regarding social media, the high follower count, and a little bit of notoriety. During this conversation, a lady friend of the host remarked, "Can I get a picture with you?" And it caught me off guard, but the attention she was giving me from that point on was addictive. The rest of the night, she absorbed my every word and found me extremely interesting. At that point, she got in my Instagram DMs and asked for my number. My first mistake is that I gave it to her. My wife and friend were very suspicious of her because she was fangirling all over me in front of the entire party. But due to my own lack of self-worth, having someone in real life and not just in the comments that was enamored with me felt amazing. My next mistake was texting her, because deep down I loved the attention she was giving me. But as a married man, it was simply unbecoming and completely wrong. My friends and wife eventually sat me down and read the messages out to me. I began to realize just how terrible my actions and words were. I especially had a deeper understanding as to how much it broke my wife's trust in me. I made my friends feel uncomfortable because now I've ruined relationships due to my interaction with this woman. I should have never messaged her. I should have never engaged. I should have listened to my wife when she spoke about how uncomfortable she was. I feel incredibly guilty and full of shame. For anyone reading this, please get therapy and fix that sense of worthlessness inside. Because for me, it led me to seek attention from the wrong person. I entertained a single woman as a married man of almost 10 years. We never had sex or talked about sex, but I sought attention from a woman that wasn't my wife. And before I give my opinion here, let's check a comment or two. Here's a comment. You could say that you made the first mistake of giving the fangirl a lot of time at the party. Once your pupils dilated, you should have said, "Hey, nice to meet you, but I'm going to hang out with my amazing wife." And if your wife isn't there, say you need to give her a call. And somebody replied, "You're absolutely right." I'm sure she's okay, but amazing is a little much, for sure. Here's another comment. You are in the shoes my husband was a few years ago. We went to therapy to convince him he had an emotional affair instead of what he called an overzealous friendship. We stay in our marriage, but I never got over it or trust him again. He knocked himself off the pedestal I had put him on, and his view from where it stands is not quite what he expected to live with. Good luck, and realize where this relationship could have gone, and you could have lost everything. So, here's my opinion, because I already know where everybody is going with this and where it's going to eventually go. And I should not be surprised, so I'm not surprised. This is almost frustrating. So, this guy didn't do anything. And he's posting here because he wants validation. He wants people to tell him that you're okay, everybody's overreacting, you're a good person, even though there's no such thing as a good person. And the fact that this guy's even posting this here, and it's a little clickbaity, because he didn't cheat. Obviously, he didn't cheat. Right now, he's dealing with his woman, and he's being a wimp about it, and going online and posting so that he can get all the validation and people to tell him that he's just fine. But no, you're going to have the even more wimps of Reddit that are gonna tell him how evil and horrible he is for having a conversation with somebody. Nah, dude, you are evil. You're a bad person, and you can move towards being a decent person. But I'm not going to sit here and coddle you and tell you how wonderful you are, because you're not. You're a human being. You're no better or worse than anyone else. And ignore the, yeah, your girl's going to go off and go crazy because you're a wimp and she doesn't respect you. You're a wimp enough to not just ignore it. Ignore her little explosion. It shouldn't even faze you. Because if you really knew that you were in the right, you wouldn't even be arguing with her. And, you are okay. Sure, you shouldn't really be entertaining the conversation of another woman. Especially when your wife is there. And when your wife's friends are there. Like, yeah, you're stupid. You're being stupid. I won't say you are stupid. You're being stupid. But no, I'm not going to sit here and hold your hand and coddle you, but I'm also not going to condemn you because you didn't actually do anything. And this whole emotional cheating thing is stupid because there's no such thing. That's the thing. That's why divorce is so prevalent and why nobody cares about the oaths it's not even about oaths. It's about keeping your word. And so everybody's looking for an excuse to get out of relationships or get out of marriages and not honoring their word. And so they invent things like emotional cheating. No, there's a very clear line of what cheating is. And anytime you're involving yourself with somebody else's genitals or your genitals, you're cheating. Other than that, there's no cheating outside of that. And certainly no grounds for divorce because of how much pain and devastation divorce or even ending a relationship can cause one or both people. And just because both of you aren't hurting right now doesn't mean one of you aren't going to be devastated down the road when you realize what's actually happened. Let's do another comment of people who are probably overreacting over the situation or holding this guy's hand. Here's a comment. So yeah, this is crazy, but as someone who's been in that position before, it was because I wasn't happy who I was with. Not saying you're unhappy with your wife, but couples therapy needs to happen. Yeah, go to the rapist. The therapist, not the rapist. But couples therapy needs to happen, the rapey. Especially if you're going to want to work things out. Building her trust back will be hard, but if you generally feel regret for what you did, you can still salvage it, but it's up to her, not you. Yes, your entire life is up to her. Keep her on the pedestal, for sure. For sure. No. Nothing is happening. It's just typical. He's enjoying the attention. Because there's some kind of void there for sure. Typical. It's normal. It's whatever. Here's another comment. Shouldn't he get his personal shit figured out first? If the wife wants to go to marriage counseling, it's one thing. But he's the one who messed up. He's the one who's seeking validation outside his marriage. He's the one with self-worth and ego issues. You're not going to find any validation within your marriage. And you're not going to find any validation outside of yourself. Or the father. You can find validation with the father. But if you find validation within yourself, the chances that you turn into a narcissist are not small. Here's another comment. Maybe because it fed your ego. Some men really like the attention of being praised by someone, especially women. So maybe you like the attention of it because it fed your ego. Yeah, most men enjoy female attention. It's true. Not a surprise. Heaven forbid a man enjoy female attention. But it is a trap, so run. Run away. Here's another comment. If the genders were reversed, they'd all be explaining why it's the spouse's fault for not giving you the attention you deserve. Just remember, in modern society, women are always the victim and men are always at fault. So just how loving has your wife been to you throughout the years? Was she making you feel loved? Were you giving attention because your wife wasn't giving you the love and affection you deserve? It sounds to me like the reason her attention felt so exciting to have someone so enamored of you is because you weren't getting anything remotely like that at home. It's normal to crave love and attraction when you're being starved of it. It's normal for a woman to crave love and attraction. It's not normal for a man to crave love and attraction. It's common for a man to crave love and attention, but it's not normal, and it's not how it should be. And I'll continue with the comment. Instead of jumping on the blame, you bandwagon, why don't you step back and take a hard look at the marriage? Just how well are you being treated? Are you being taken for granted? How much effort does your wife put into your relationship? Does your wife initiate intimacy? Is she generous with affection? It doesn't matter. None of these things matter. Because you already gave your word to this woman that you would stay with her through thick and thin, and that you were going to be exclusive with her. You made a lifelong decision. And whether you verbally make a lifelong decision, your body makes a lifelong decision. It's scientifically proven, actually. I'm not just speaking out of my ass. Your body actually does make an agreement with the person that you decide to lay down with. In the moment sure, maybe you didn't make a lifelong commitment with somebody, but your body does. And it's not easy to actually break that out of her DNA. So, yeah, this person's just trying to give this guy an excuse to break the commitment he made with his wife. You see, when you marry somebody, you're verbally saying what your body has already done. The whole boyfriend-girlfriend thing is just a cop-out, a way for a man to be able to say, well, I didn't marry her, I didn't make a lifelong commitment, so I'm just going to go ahead and break her heart and cause her all kinds of emotional distress because I didn't stand on an altar, a religious altar, and slit my wrists and pour blood all over the sacrament and put a ring on. Yeah. So here's another comment. This has to be fake. No man would sound this pathetic. Whenever I hear someone talking about their social media following, I instantly dislike them. Guys, do not talk like this. You would get absolutely ridiculed by other men sounding like this. Drop kick. Somebody with sense. But the reason I didn't respond this way is because most guys are actually like the poster here. Starved of attention and validation because they don't spend any time with themselves or with the Father. Starved. And because they don't spend any time with themselves, they don't know themselves. And when you don't know yourself, blind spots begin to form. Because if you actually were to spend time with yourself, you'd realize how awful you actually are. And then you may actually have some time to start fixing those things that you would dislike about yourself if you actually spent time with yourself, but you don't spend time with yourself, so you'll never know what to fix. So no, it's not fake. This isn't fake. This is how 97% of men are. And I'm using the word men loosely here, obviously. Yeah, this is typical. This is typical. So don't be surprised.